Hello, guys, and welcome to the Transparency. We have an interview tonight. I'll be bringing him out here in just a moment or two. Want to say thank you for the members for being here. Thank you for the subscribers for being here. And as always, the moderators keeping it very, very kosher in chat. If you are joining us, please always be respectful in chat. You guys know what to do. Again, gonna let those notifications click, and while that happens, I'll be bringing our guest from behind the wall. You guys want to know about the internet? You guys want to know about the towers, servers? Well, let's do it. Let's just do just that.
Listen, folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you... All right, who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay, drive careful, okay?
Will do, thank you.
This is with the other group that ran away.
Oh, really? You just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car and the other one.
It's truly for the win.
You're muted.
Let me just unmute myself. Welcome, Chuck. It wouldn't be alive if I talked without a mute button on. Want to say thank you for being here. To the Transparency, welcome. Chuck, Kelsey. This name would have rung a bell. I'm going to let him explain his story, but your name kind of started surfacing after Brent Kapaka was murdered, or, you know, if they want to say shot, killed. That's pretty much when your name started surfacing. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, so it all started with that. Basically, that morning I woke up and walked downstairs to the police blocking off Latah Street because of what was going on 2 apartments down. I had to ask them how to get out to go to work that morning because...
and when you say 2 apartments down, you're talking about like 2 apartment complexes, like the buildings?
Like the full buildings, yeah.
Okay.
So it's...
Is there any way you could turn up your volume just a tad there, Chuck, or no? I'm going to try to turn mine up for you, too.
I do speak really quietly, so just let me know, and I can speak a bit louder, but...
Okay.
Oh, there it is, automatically, just my... Alrighty, can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's better.
Alright, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So, after that happened, it was like a few weeks, I want to say. I don't know when exactly. Well, it happened on December 15th, and like the rumors started flying that weekend and going on into the next week. And funnily enough, like I got a text message from my boss's boss asking, you know, is everything all right? Because he spoke to another coworker, said, you know, I heard you had a bad day. And I was like, well, yeah, my mom told me that she was going to put my dog down. Of course I'm going to have a bad Friday. Think nothing of it. But he found a TikTok video from guy on TikTok that basically said that I was the Pullman shooter. So that Monday morning when I come into work, I get a frantic message on LinkedIn from one of my Greek fraternity brothers asking me, like, hey, are you still alive? Are you still okay? And I messaged him back saying, well, yeah, what do you mean? And after about 10 minutes, he didn't answer me. So I called him directly, and that's when he told me that, my name was being blasted out, that people were linking me to the Pullman shooting and then also trying to link me to the Moscow murders. And so from there, I set about trying to track down where everything began. And sure enough, it all began on 4chan, the cesspit of the internet. From there, they found my address, found my Facebook page, and a bunch of other stuff, and they were going through basically all of my social media. And the thing is, I haven't been on social media since 2017.
Okay.
I don't like Facebook. I don't like being a product.
Okay.
That's essentially what you are with Facebook. So, like, and some of the things that people have been saying, like, oh, he's got a burner phone. I mean, you go and buy a $20 phone from, Walmart when your phone breaks. What are you going to call it? It's one that you're just going to throw away after you get a brand new phone. It's a burner phone. The other one specifically about calling sorority girls sluts, that irks me the wrong way because people are reading the Facebook post wrong. It was me quoting somebody that was sitting next to me yelling at a computer and then saying in his defense he was looking at sorority girls. Not anything with me calling, any sorority girls sluts or things like that. Like, no, that's not who I am, and that's not the way that I think. And from there, they're like, oh, he hates college kids. He, he's an IT. He knows how to bring down the website. He could bring down the cameras that night and things like that. And unfortunately, that's false. Like, I don't even have the access. I'm basically tier 1 tech support after the students get through the student tech support. And those servers are managed by a completely different team that has their own credentials that can access it. So there's no possible way.
Chuck, are you cool with me sharing your Facebook on the screen so people could see, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, after, other than the posting about, it doesn't even have the newest one, posting into one of the Moscow groups saying, hey, it's not me that was involved in the Pullman shooting. But as you can see, it's from 2017. I haven't done anything on this profile. And it's a good thing, too, because once this all was going crazy and people were throwing accusations around, I'm happy it wasn't up to date with, like my relationship status or things like that. Because it could have gotten so much worse if, not only people would be attacking me, they would be attacking my girlfriend, and that's just not all right.
So basically what me and Chuck wanted to talk about is after the shooting at the coffee house apartment, TikTok went a little crazy, 4chan went a little crazy, and as people were looking up people to see who could possibly be involved with the Idaho4, as well as Brent, they found this profile, which is his, and they were comparing it to actually, like, some of your pictures actually kind of like look like Brent with like the beard when we had that beard. But then people really honed in on right here. Oh, he is you were living in Moscow, and that you worked for the university, that you were once in the in the army. Oh, knives. Oh, wait, then he does the tech work at the University of Idaho. He's in IT. And so I think at one point you were, when you were living in Moscow, when were you actually living there? It wasn't that far.
So So I had lived in, it was 351 Lauder Avenue, which is just up the street around the corner from where it happened. I had moved, I believe, 2 months prior to the Idaho murders, and
Mhm.
the funny thing is, my girlfriend was living elsewhere in Moscow, so basically I lived over there with her
Okay.
for like the last 6 months. Not even going to my apartment, using it like really I've just turned it into an office because I had my desktop computer, and with my job at the university, I'm all over the university because um, I work in IT for many different groups that are at the university, and they're dotted throughout it. So I have to travel quite a bit to go fix things here and there and make sure everything's up and ready for like the past couple of weeks. We've been doing nothing but preparing for check-in, making sure all the stuff is ready for all the new arrivals that are coming in to stay at the university.
Okay. So this is like a busy time for you guys with school coming back.
Yep, it's
Now,
just starting.
now, were you part of the ID when it was COVID?
So I spent all of COVID working at uh, basically it's a tech shop here in Moscow called Video Game Headquarters. Absolutely love the place, but basically all throughout COVID, when everyone else thought, actually we even had Moscow PD come in and say, "What are you guys doing working?" And we had to tell them, like, "What do you want us to do with the 3 computers you guys ordered from us?
Mhm.
Like, are we not essential to have IT?" And especially with COVID moving everything online, it yeah. So I was lucky enough to keep my job during all of COVID,
Okay.
and then I was asked by a friend of mine to come back to the university. So I also had a sweeter deal with pay and benefits.
Okay. So COVID happens, and then kids were going back and forth with either being, remote, or some people were still taking classes at the school. And then so let's get to like 2022, which would have been this past, year.
Mhm.
Were you living in Moscow then?
Yeah, I was living in Moscow, but like I said, during 2022, I had spent most of my time over at my girlfriend's house, and not really by Water Avenue.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
And then did you move at some point? Did you make it like an official like move, or did you just like
our official move was when we moved over to Washington.
okay, like
So
Pullman?
yeah,
Okay.
she had gotten a job over here, so we moved over here to basically be closer to her job, and I have no qualms driving up here in the middle of winter because
Okay.
I'm born and raised here in uh, born and raised in Idaho, and I've spent quite a bit of time here.
Okay. Okay. So kind of like so you're you're local pretty much to the Moscow area, right?
Yeah, I'm basically a migrant that has never left.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
been up here since about 2015, I want to say.
Okay. So 2015, perfect. And you have this job with the university. This all happens with the Idaho 4, case. And did you know any of them?
No, so that's the other funny thing about my Facebook. Um, I honestly didn't know Skylar was even related to Zeta until I saw the TikTok video. I was like, wait a second. Because Skylar was somebody I went to high school with. He was one of my friends in high school.
Okay.
I haven't
So
talked
like
to him
basically like
since.
people were sleuthing and they figured out that somebody that you went to high school with on your friends list was related to Xana.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I didn't put 2 and 2 together at all. And that had to have been like a month or two without knowing. Granted, I probably should send him a message, but I haven't talked to him since about 2010 when I graduated.
Okay. All right. So But you've never met any of the students. You don't even know that Skylar was related from your
No,
friends list. It
no.
was high school stuff. Um, and when this obviously happened, you're working for the university, and then all of this stuff starts coming out about the internet being down. There's no internet. There's no, like, the servers were manually taken down. Um,
So that's the other weird thing. Like everything inside runs internally. Like we have our own internal DNS servers, which yes, if the outside internet goes down, some things do stop working that rely on that, such as Outlook. Because if you don't have outside internet, it's not going to work.
oh wait. So
But
can you repeat that? Wait, I couldn't hear you. That.
oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
So we have our own internal DNS servers that talk and basically say, okay, you want this IP. Also, our own internal routers that assign IPs. Almost everything is statically assigned, so when we keep everything segregated. So even if say for example how it says the university's website was down between this hour and this hour,
Mhm.
it may have been down externally,
Okay.
but internally everything was working just fine. There was no alerts. When everyone got to work that morning, everything was working. So whatever blip happened, it didn't affect anything internally.
Okay. So, like, are you talking about, like, when everybody got to work, like, meaning like Monday morning,
I forget which day.
or you just like mean like?
So not many people work over the weekend.
Yeah, because like
every-
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, every once in a while I do. I forget when the actual murders happen because
Okay.
I'm trying to stay away from this as much as possible.
Yeah. So like it was actually like on a Sunday. Then I think they canceled school, but I don't know. Like I think that's what they
No.
did. They canceled school. So then I think people were just started up on Tuesday. So like, but you're basically saying if the if anything was down externally, that could happen, but it doesn't mean that it was down internally.
Mhm. So, say for example, a camera is talking to its camera server. The server knows the static IP that's assigned to that server, so it will basically, if you cut the internet out of a CCTV system, it will still record to its server because it knows as long as the router is still up, even though the external internet is down, the router is still doing the routing in between, sending the packets of the footage and stuff between the camera and the server. So those are still up and recording. Now, I don't know about the placement of our cameras anywhere near King Road, but if there was cameras pointing that direction, the police would have had them.
Okay, so basically you're saying that this would have not affected any type of, because doesn't the university run like a ton of stuff in that town? Like the cameras for like traffic cams? How do those work?
Those are ran by the city. The university does own quite a bit of land and property because they are a land grant university, but like traffic cameras are ran by the city. The security cameras we have around, the router would still provide IP addresses because the router is the one that assigns it out. It's as long as the router is not turned off, it will still work internally. You don't have to have external internet. It's basically like an intranet, not an internet.
Okay, got you. So like when they say that they're so if Wi-Fi was down,
You'd still be able to connect to the Wi-Fi devices, and you'd still be able to get an IP, but you wouldn't be able to connect out to the internet to go to like Google or.
but it would still track you.
It could track what access point you're connected to, but it can't track your exact location of where you are.
That's because there's like a malfunction?
No, so the university's Wi-Fi system is like a mesh system. So think of you have a room or you have a building that has like 5 floors. We put an access point in like every other room on each floor and kind of counter. So like the first floor is gonna have one, but the second floor right above it's not gonna have one, so that the Wi-Fi kind of bleeds out. So we can tell, which access point you're connected to at that time and what room that access point is in, but we can't tell where exactly you are in that room. We could just tell you're connected here to this.
Okay, so it's not like GPS then, right?
No.
Okay. Do you know if that's accurate? Was the university was it down that? Do you know that if that's true?
I do not know. As far as I know, I did look a little bit into this to see, and just a few days before there was some server maintenance, so it's possible something might have happened.
There was server maintenance
So
a couple days before.
yeah, it's standard. Normally we do it Microsoft sends out patches every Tuesday, so normally we keep our patch cycle almost in line with Microsoft with updating our servers and stuff like that. So I think that's probably, it's entirely possible that there was a bad patch and they had to revert something and they didn't want to do it during hours. It's possible they could have done that late at night, but it would have only brought down our external facing stuff, nothing internal.
Okay. Now when you said that anything that you would ever have to do, you have to swipe in, so somebody would know.
It depends on the building, but there is think of it like a workday kind of thing where 8 to 5 the doors are unlocked because you don't want to have to make the students swipe in to go to class because that's silly. But after hours, you have to swipe in order to enter any building.
So students have to swipe in to go into buildings?
It depends on the time. Normally, throughout the school year, I think our lock schedule is, I want to say it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Basically, it's where you don't need to swipe in. The doors are all unlocked automatically to each of the university buildings. But also at that time, we have building attendants that enter the building. Employees are coming into work. There's been, yes, they are correct. Students do have to swipe in on the off hours. So to enter the dorms off hours, you have to swipe in. But during the day, you can enter the main doors to the dorms, but you can't enter the side doors unless you have your card.
Okay. Now, do you know if that's true with Pullman? Is that the same with Pullman, with WSU's campus?
I don't know WSU's campus. I know roughly how their IT runs.
As far as swiping in,
But I don't know if their buildings are the same. I would think it is, because
I would think so too. Now that you say that,
they follow about the same line of security for building access, because you don't want somebody entering in the biochem lab that's working on some sort of disease when they're not authorized to be in there.
Well, the reason I asked this is because if I think what you did was made my head go into a different direction, which was, okay, well, that's interesting. So if Brian Kohlberger was to swipe in on campus at the WSU campus to go into a building,
There would be a log.
There would be a log of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So somebody's in chat saying my roommates brought me into WSU buildings with their ID badges. Don't know.
Yeah, they're not supposed to. I know. Okay. I know it's explicitly stated in both housing contracts. At least it should be that you're not supposed to swipe other people, and you're supposed to go to the you're supposed to go get a new card. They have to basically verify you are who you are.
Okay.
And then they give you a temp card that you have to return in an hour, or else you get a nasty gram.
Okay. Are your pups okay over there?
Yeah, they're fighting with each other. But that's
Okay, so basically TikTok puts this out. You get a phone call and you're like, wait, what? Oh,
yeah. So I get that phone call, and the first thing I do is I go to my boss, and I'm like, boss, here's what's going on. And my boss is like, well, I don't know what to do. Let's go to my boss. And so we piggyback up to his boss, and his boss said, this is the first, let's go to my boss. So
okay.
we went on up, and funnily enough, we went into his office, and he's like, oh, I was just about to have a meeting to figure out how to tell you about what's going on online, to inform you of, people saying that you're dead and you're implicated in the Moscow murders. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take off the rest of today to go figure this out, because that's
like weird.
Yeah, it's especially just finding out about it. So went over to Moscow PD, showed them what was going on.
You mean like you showed them like online? You're like, here you go.
Well, I went into their office and showed them the videos. Like, hey, this is circling around, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and blown out of proportion. And then I went over to Pullman, because I live in Pullman.
Okay.
And I spoke with the officer there, and she was saying, this is kind of funny because we haven't released the name of the person. At the time was Brent, but they didn't release it yet. And she basically told me, you should sue them because they're basically spewing lies about you. I was like, hang on, just let me talk to the guy. Because that morning once after I saw that video, I sent the guy on TikTok an email from my official university email saying, hey, I'm still very much alive. What are you talking about? So after speaking with the Pullman police, I got onto a phone call with them to kind of ask him about the situation, where he got my name pulled out of. At the time, he told me it was circling around a bunch of Facebook groups, which it looks like it's circling around again in a bunch of Facebook groups. And then from there, like, it was on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, 4chan, just all over the place. And so I started, once I got home, and after speaking with the TikToker, he very apologetic guy. Like, I hold nothing against this guy.
Okay.
I would not. Basically, if I had a lawsuit, it would be to change the information in his video, which he did of his own free will. So there's no reason to pull us both through a legal.
Okay, so like he like retracted or whatever.
Yeah, and he issued 2 apologies. One
that's cool.
was like a media apology, and then another one later on that night when he did his full section that he normally does. So from there, I went onto the internet and dived into the hell that we call 4chan to try to figure out, what it was. And so it all started from, they said veteran over the radio, which,
Oh, okay. They said the person that was shot down.
Yeah, was a veteran. They said not to say the name over the radio, but they said it was a veteran, which, for those people out there, suffering from PTSD, please get help. Like, I've lost, my own friends from the Army that, have taken their own lives. Please get help. Don't let it escalate to something like that. But from there, they did a address search, and they looked on the people on Laytown, and they saw my name, and then from there they looked at my Facebook, looked at my LinkedIn, and once it got out of 4chan, it went to Reddit, and then Reddit went to Facebook and Twitter. And so after I found out where it started, I managed to, so I logged in 4chan and basically told them that they're a bunch of idiots. And I answered their questions there because they had a couple for me. And then I went to Reddit, and those guys were really nice. They said, "You're not the first person this has happened. I just need you to verify your identity." And so they managed to scrub my name from Reddit because
Oh,
there's
nice.
no reason to throw my name out there like that when it's false information.
Yeah.
And then the Facebook groups, I literally posted from the Facebook account that they were saying was dead. So it's like, I still have access to my account. It's my account.
Yeah, and I'm over here. I'm typing.
And probably the worst one is Twitter. My God, I hate Twitter.
Twitter. What
Most
X? What is it called now? X?
whatever Elon wants, but no, they were saying, "Oh no, you're." I don't know what they were fighting me back on, but I'm like, "No, your information's wrong." And then, literally the next day, or it was the next day or two, they finally released his name of Brent, and I was able to go through all the social media and just post, "Hey, here's the article, the official article from the corner, and everything of who it was and how it happened."
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, I thought everything was done and taken care of, and just moved on with my life. And
Yeah.
then come to find out, it still was being perpetuated in January. Granted,
Okay.
I'm not on social media, so I don't see any of this.
So I have a question for you then.
Mhm.
When you took this to the Moscow Police Department, they were issuing rumor controls, and they were like writing their little stuff like this rumor, and they were putting it to like rest and stuff, different things. Did they ever say, "Do you want us to put your stuff out there to put that to rest"?
Uh, Not that I'm aware of. I just told the officer what was going on with, showed him the video and said, "Hey, this is, as you can see, I'm very much alive. Here's my ID. Like, this is me." Um, but I honestly, I didn't know about it until you told me about the rumor mill kind of squashing that they were doing.
Okay. Yeah, just curious about that. That they didn't just um, they were putting stuff out there like that.
Uh, to answer War Eagle, no.
War Eagle, let's see.
I see him in chat. No, it was on 4chan. I could trace the exact date on when it was posted compared to what it was on Reddit.
I was on everything, but I think it was on Reddit before 4chan, to be honest. War Eagle says.
No, it was. I pulled out the archives, and the day it happened was when.
I'm gonna go with the IT guy on this one. Well, yeah, that's. I mean, that's wild. It's truly wild. I know that people were reaching out to me. People reach out to anybody that's a creator, and then they say, how about this person? How about this person? Or what about this? What about this? And I just remember there was 3 points that people were always pointing to, because your name was brought to me, and I have to go back and check, if I do my search bar into my emails, but it was stuff that had to do with they were mixing like the IT stuff. Oh, he probably is good with a knife if he's in the army, you know what I mean? And
And the thing is, like,
maybe he was friends with Brent.
What?
Maybe they went to, I don't know.
like, and that's the other thing that bugs me is if they're thinking it's a veteran and he would have done it quietly, why is there multiple stab wounds in the chest? You just go for the throat and you're done.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to kill someone, you put the pillow over their face, you slice their neck, you're done. You move on to the next one. That's if you're trying to kill multiple people at
if
once.
they're sleeping, if they're in a bed.
Mm-hmm. Like it's instead of like if you stab them multiple times, they're gonna wake up, they're gonna scream, they're gonna. All the stuff surrounding it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, does it?
No.
And especially to hear things like that we believe that everybody was asleep, you know what I mean? And then that comes out like that's not the case. How do you have? But I think that it's a great way to say it. Like, if you are, why wouldn't someone do what exactly? I mean, I've been saying that for a while. Like,
But again, why would I use a knife when I've got guns?
I got guns. Well,
Like
people were trying to say that guns would be too loud. I don't.
a pillow silencer, like
I don't know.
even then, like you could use a pillow as a silencer. You could use an actual silencer. Granted, I don't own one, but like there's many different ways around it. Yes, you can trace the ammo of the gun and trace the ballistics and stuff like that, but it's the same thing. You can also trace a knife. You can see that a knife has made this entry wound and it has these marks on the blade. So no
You
matter
could also
what,
cut yourself, right? I mean, you could bleed there at the scene, right?
yeah, like it opens up many more chances for that. I saw something from Miss Potts earlier about ArcGIS.
Oh yeah.
It's I honestly don't know what they have. That's like they probably do have mappings, especially of like the arboretum for studies that they do and things like that. But ArcGIS is just not something I know people use it at the university, but I don't know of anything being shared because I'm a low man on the totem pole.
Yeah, I just so now you being like a local there. Well, you've been there since 2015. Is it a pretty like a safe area?
It's a nice small town. I think the last time I remember something happened was a guy shot his girlfriend at Wendy's and then drove to Pullman. But I don't know how many years that was. And then before that, it was the dude that got up into the clock tower with a sniper rifle. Or, I don't know what rifle, but he had a scope on it.
Wait, so I have a question to ask you.
Mm.
You said when you woke up that morning, when you went to like leave to go to work or for the Brent, your building, you couldn't leave?
So the police have blocked both. So if you look at Latah Street on a map,
Okay, I can pull that up actually. Is that cool if I pull it up? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me I'll put in the coffee house.
Yeah, we'll just go off of the coffee house.
All right, let me just share screen here.
And please don't show up to my door. And to answer Chris, I have the social medias, I just don't use them. So yeah, you can see on the highway right next to it, like the road connects back up to the highway.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna come down here and
a little bit farther out, you can see both ends.
Oh yeah, I was doing something, so don't mind that. So like this is, are you talking about like this street here?
Yeah.
All right, let me get on my 3D here. Up, go back down. And then, so there you have, this is Latah back here, right?
Mm.
Okay. And so you had your entrances.
Yeah, so the one up by the highway on the right-hand side was blocked off, and then if you look over to the left, you can see the light on Bishop that was blocked off.
So it was which way? This way?
Yeah, farther to the left.
Like over here?
Keep going left, you'll see where it connects.
Oh, by Bishop.
Yeah, so they had that end blocked off, and then the other end on the other side blocked off.
Okay, so like you couldn't so none of these apartments were able to get out of there?
No. I asked him, that morning, he's like, hey, how can I get to work? And he's like, yeah, you could just drive around the cop car. Normally I take the right-hand side to go to work because I don't want to fight people on that tight turn. That's an evil corner, by the way. I hate that, to try to turn left on them or turn.
Okay. Wow, okay. So did they ask you for like your ID or anything like that when you left, or were they just like?
No. That morning I actually brought them coffee because, I understand how it is to stay up 24 hours. It sucks.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's many times I would wish somebody would bring me a cup of coffee. So, I brought them coffee and asked them, how I can get out to work and, if they needed anything, and went back up and I gave them one of my coffee mugs, and they left it a few days later on the porch. So,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, they're generally really nice people here.
So this was now. Could you hear anything that night?
So, like, the only thing I could see, so I think it was at midnight, I took our dogs out. I stay up late and play video games all the time. So, about midnight is right before I go to bed, and I take the dogs out. And the cars were outside, the sirens were on, or not sirens, the lights were on and stuff. So, I just went back up inside, went to bed, and I am a very heavy sleeper. So, I didn't hear like any gunshots, any crossfire between the two.
So wait, when you say that you took your dogs for a walk on,
Yeah, there's a little park in between our apartments that we can take our dogs to. It's not that far away,
but there was no cops around here.
the cops were farther up the street when they were sitting in their squad cars, but if you keep going down the street, where the rock place in the back of that building is like a little dog park.
Okay, so you took your dogs this way.
Yeah, way further down.
Oh, it's way further down.
Yeah, it's past the Sun Rental.
Okay, hold on one second.
Just a little bit. You'll see the. Yeah.
So like.
You can actually see it from up top where the building is.
So like, isn't this coffee house right here?
Yep. You can see the dog park's like right behind the white building.
This
just
over here?
No, just south. Down.
It.
I wish I could move my mouse on the screen.
Oh, here, hold on. I'm gonna come down. I'll go down to the walking area.
You'll see it's the rock place further on there. Nope. So on the other, so the cows were blocking off right here.
Okay, this is where it was all blocked off.
And then the cows blocked off the other side of the building.
Okay.
Because if you look, there's a road that goes up the back of it.
Like down that way?
Yeah. Well, that road goes off up to the park. But on the other side of this building, there's a road that goes up to the back of it that circles around to that first part that you're looking at.
Is it over here?
Left.
Oh, this way.
Yeah, you see where that car's parked?
Yeah.
That's the other road. So they had blocked off like about right here.
Okay. This area they had blocked off and down over there, right?
And then they had one squad car up at the other end of the road. At the very end where it connects to Bishop.
Okay. But so you were able to walk back through here?
Yeah, I can walk through there all I want. I wasn't anywhere near the police that night.
And I was just trying to figure out, where was that dog park at though? Like
to the left. Left. Behind that building.
Behind this building here?
Yeah. So
okay.
I got you. And I can walk them up front here and go looky-loo at what the heck's going on.
Okay. So you just saw that it was kind of blocked off, and then but you didn't hear anything, you didn't see anything?
No. Found out from looking at the police scanner the next morning, that there was or not the scanner, like the daily log of what's going on, and it wasn't that informative, but it just said that there was I think it said a shooting or something, I don't know. It's been a bit since I looked at it, but I didn't know, they had just shot somebody. Honestly, if I would have known it was, a veteran and stuff like that, I would have gone over there and I would have talked him out of it.
Yeah, wow.
One vet to another.
They told you, the police told you that?
No, I found out later when.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that they were veterans, like, those things that you look back.
How about this one? Does Chuck know anything about how a phone could be cloned by chance? Is it all possible?
It is possible to clone a phone, but do I have the capability to do it? Probably
No,
not.
not you, but
Yeah.
like
Of course, you can clone a phone. You can clone a phone with the Flipper Zero, I believe. It's like a little hacking tool. It's fun to use, but you have to have a SIM card to clone it to. That's what phone companies do all the time when you swap between one phone to another. They can swap the SIMs. It's the same exact kind of system. There's people out there that can do it nefariously. Yeah.
interesting.
And so if you've ever gotten a brand new SIM card, that's basically cloning a phone.
So if you got a brand new phone, could you ask them for 2 SIM cards?
That depends on how you do it. You can get what's called an eSIM, so you no longer need like an actual physical SIM. But an eSIM is just it's just an ID that says this is who I am, this is what my phone number is. And as we all know, identities can be stolen. You can steal just about anything if you wanted. So you can steal the ID of a SIM card, put it onto another SIM card, and that's effectively cloning it.
And then you could put it in then you could just take that SIM card and just put it in a phone.
And be able to call from it from the same number. I'm saying it's possible. Whether or not it's actually feasible to do it, it takes time and money, which not many people have these days.
So if you were to just go to let's say Verizon, and I was like, hey, my phone is not I don't know, something's up, it's just not working.
Well, the easiest way is to social engineer yourself, saying, hey, I'm going to use you, truth and transparency. Here's who I am. Here's my account information. I lost my phone. Can you get me a new one? And you can just social engineer your way into someone's account to get their phone number, and you basically get a brand new phone on their account. It happens all the time to people all across the United States, where that's the easiest level of hacking, and why it's so effective is social engineering. It's you just say, hey, I am, the president of Guatemala, and I'll give you 50,000, like the old Nigerian prince scam that goes on. It's basically just social engineering. You just say you are, someone different than what you actually are, and you con somebody into giving you what you want.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that you went for a walk that night, and boom, wow. But I guess that's normal for you, to take the dogs out.
Yeah, I look over and say, oh, something's happening over there. Let's stay away from it, because
Yeah.
it's, let the police do their jobs and stuff like that. So
Yeah. I wouldn't want to. Yeah.
it's like, don't involve yourself, because you're just going to complicate things.
And you didn't hear any gunshots or anything?
No, I didn't hear any fighting. I didn't hear, anyone yelling, from outside to the apartments or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't hear anything that night.
Okay.
And then all it was just, all I could see was just the, the lights in our bedroom, because our bedroom faces the street. So they're sitting there flashing. So that was kind of annoying, but.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Hot damn. So is it pretty good now? With no one's out there. Or did they start bringing it back up again with you being involved? Did the cops ever come and ask you anything?
No.
You just went straight to them and you're like, hey, this is what's going around, and I have no idea what's up.
Pretty much. And, like I said, they told me to file a lawsuit. And I'm like, no, let's be reasonable people here.
Yeah.
Let me talk to him first, because that's how I am. Instead of, stopping something with a lawsuit, yeah, lawsuits take time and money, and I honestly don't like going that route. But if you're able to just talk to them as two human beings together and say, hey, what you said is wrong, would you mind remedying this or fixing it? And that's pretty much what, when you first go to court, you go and you have settlement talks. That's exactly what that is. It's like, hey, let's agree to settle on this so that, everyone leaves happy. And lo and behold, it looks like the me doing that seems suspicious of me trying to suppress information. And that's why people are still trying to perpetuate this whole, I'm involved with the murder somehow.
Yeah, I don't think that is. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I'm just shocked that the Moscow Police Department didn't put you on their little rumor mill. Hey, and the guy that is the IT guy at the University of Idaho is not involved. That's what they were just left and right clearing people and saying the guy with the red Mustang is not. It's nothing to do with this.
Well, I think part of it too is like because I stopped everything where it stopped, and it didn't blow out of proportion any further than that. It didn't get garner more views. That's probably what happened with the others. Is like I'm going to use the example of the hoodie guy. I don't know who the hoodie guy is, but the hoodie guy was dragged all through the mud and everything like this, and people just kept going at it and at it and at it, and the Poland police had to step in and say, this is false. Whereas in my case, because I stepped in and I stopped it as early as possible, it didn't spread out from there and it didn't get crazy.
So, interesting. So if I was to, let's say that I clone my phone and and so I have two phones and I give a phone to somebody to go use in like Moscow, and then I use my phone with the same SIM card. Like, can you have so would it be showing that like I was at two places at once?
It would show two pings, yes, because it has to talk to the cell tower. It would show two pings from the same phone number.
Okay. And then how would, since you're IT, I don't even know if you would know this. I don't even know that answer. But if somebody was to say, hey, your phone's pinging off of this tower, but we don't believe that you were there. Like, so if it says like, this phone was pinging off of a Moscow tower, but we don't believe that the phone was there. What would you contribute to that? Is your opinion
So the
you want me to show you? I can show you the sentence that they say this because it was very interesting for me to see that they said that, only because it's like, well, where do you think that the person was?
What they use is the triangulation of the towers to try to pinpoint exactly where it is. They can't get. I mean, they're not the government. They can't get down to a meter. They can get into the rough area of where it's at. But when you call in or when your cell phone checks in with the tower, it leaves an imprint of like, hey, this phone connected at this time, and it leaves a log. Everything has logs. To get that data for geolocation like that, yes, the cell companies have it, but the police actually have to have I believe they have to have a subpoena or a warrant to access that information. Which, circling back around to like what I said about Facebook, is you are the product, and that's essentially kind of the same thing. Is like you are freely giving your information out to these cell companies. When you sign that agreement, you're giving your location, you're giving what you're doing, you're giving all this information, and sometimes it can fight back on you, and that's one of the main reasons I don't like social media. Is you say one wrong thing one time, it just haunts everything forever. And so yes, you can pinpoint where it is, but getting an exact location within, a meter is only capable by the government.
Okay. So why would law enforcement say that? What would lead them to believe if you weren't at a place that your phone's pinging at? Like,
Well, from what I've read on this, like it says that Brian turned off his phone and then drove to Moscow and Poland.
well,
See,
that's not. Yeah, that's not even the part that I care about. I'm talking about like when they're talking about the next day or like 2 days. They're talking about the 14th. They're saying that the next time that his phone pinged in Moscow was on November 14th, but we don't believe that he was in Moscow that we don't believe that his phone was in Moscow that day. And it's like, well, what makes you believe? Now you're basically saying that your shit's inaccurate.
well, do you happen to have that map of like the cell towers showing where the triangulation supposedly happened, or
Like
'cause
they have 3 towers in Moscow, and there's like I think 4 in Poland.
there's more than 3 towers in Moscow?
There's more than 3.
Yeah, you have the ones up on Moscow Mountain, Paradise Ridge. You have the ones inside of town itself, and then there's like one outside of town. It depends on who owns which towers, but there's multiple towers inside Moscow. Like if you pull up a picture of the University of Idaho's Theopolis Tower, you'll look at the top of it. It's got a bunch of antennas. Like that's essentially a cell tower.
So what would you say? How many do you think there are? 6.
6 or more at least, because I know there's a cell tower on top of the Theopolis Tower. There's a cell tower on top of the what's this? It's above Mingles. I forget what the actual building name is, but there's a Verizon cell tower above Mingles. There's a cell tower by the East Side Marketplace, which is a mall, by the way. It's not an actual marketplace. There's a cell tower farther out of town, halfway up a mountain. It's not on Paradise Ridge. I think that one's in the cellular though. And then you have the towers in Pullman, and then the ones from like the SWAT people were changed a little bit. It's one of the peeps out here. They just changed the name of it because SWAT is offensive.
Okay. Interesting. And then
And most of the reason why I know where these cell towers are is I used to work for an internet company, so I would have to climb up to the top of buildings to point a wireless shot back up to Moscow Mountain or Paradise Ridge. So
okay.
I gotta see a lot of Moscow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you scared of heights, man?
Not really. I just don't like climbing towers. Hence why I left that job.
Yeah, you're like that. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I thought it was like just three or four towers. So wow. And so cloning a phone, not that difficult.
If you have the equipment to do it, no. But you have to have the other phone, close enough proximity to it.
You have to have that. You have to have the original phone that you're trying to clone close in proximity.
If you're trying to do like a direct clone, yes. If you're trying to do like a social engineering clone, but if you do the social engineering clone, it deactivates the old phone.
Oh, it deactivates the old phone.
Yeah, because the company, they shut off the phone to issue out a new SIM.
Okay. And so, but there is a chance that you could have 2 SIMs. Interesting.
If you had the equipment, yeah. I mean, anything's possible if you've got the equipment to do it.
Like, I just couldn't go walk into Verizon right now and just be like, hey, I need a new SIM. My SIM's not working.
You can as yourself, but they'll probably run through all the troubleshooting steps with you of what's wrong. Let's see what's wrong with your actual SIM right now, and then we'll go through and replace your SIM.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, thank you. What else? What else do you think's important? Anything besides leave this man alone? Him and his family and his pups and they are not involved.
No,
They don't know anybody.
we're just, it's a small town. Just people trying to live their lives and do what they can.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
a
affected his
tragedy.
life. It's affected his girlfriend's life.
And the thing is, like, I'm not this kind of person to portray me online. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a rather laid back person if you talk to me. Like,
Yeah, no, you very much so are. You're a straight shooter too. You're just like, hey, I want to put all this stuff to rest. Yeah,
yeah, just nip it in the bud before it gets worse.
yeah, and that's just, yeah, that's unfortunate. Um, did anybody ever reach out to you and say like, hey, do you want to go on my TikTok or can I interview you or?
No, the guy on TikTok wanted to just keep as far away from it as possible from what happened because, it was his fault. He had a bad source and he decided to blast out that information from the bad source. And I get it. Mistakes happen. People make mistakes, but it's what you do after you make the mistakes that tells you what kind of character you have. If you're genuinely
Yeah.
sorry and you take it down, you issue apologies, that tells me you've got a good character. If you're
Yeah.
one to stick to your guns like a certain empath or psychic that was going after Professor, like,
Unbelievable.
you deserve the full force of the legal system after
Yeah.
you.
There was no backing down on her either. Did they even come out with a ruling on that?
They dismissed the countersuit. So the TikToker suing the professor, saying it's a amendment right. I don't know if it's the first
So
one.
that got thrown out.
Yeah, that got thrown out real quick.
Okay, so it's just it's the professor's suit that's still going on.
Yeah. So the professor is still suing the TikToker for the defamation because
Yeah.
they still haven't taken down the videos.
I just can't even believe it.
To answer Twizzlestick,
Oh yeah.
you can connect him in most of Moscow, but it depends on what service you have. Like with my phone, if I'm out over by like the East Side Marketplace, there's a hill, small hill that kind of blocks my tower just a bit. So the connection's a bit spotty in some areas around there, but it just depends on where you're at. If you have Verizon, it's you have full bars all throughout the city because Verizon has more towers than T-Mobile because T-Mobile absorbed Sprint, but they didn't have that many towers and they were piggybacking off of Verizon.
What about AT&T?
AT&T has some towers up here. I don't know how many there are. From what I've heard, they have decent coverage, but I switched from T-Mobile or Sprint at the time, or AT&T to Sprint because Sprint just tended to work a little bit better in Idaho because the hills. There's
So you left AT&T?
Yeah. So when I was in the Army, I got stuck in Kansas of all places. With that. I think I had Verizon, but I used to work for Verizon, so I hate Verizon now. I worked customer care, and I tell you that is not a job. When you pulled up my Facebook page and said WDS Global, that was the customer service representative for Verizon.
Okay.
So that's WDS Global was the name of the company, but
Okay.
a lot of people are angry about their bills. And I get it. I'm not going to give you credit. I have rules I have to abide by. You did the crime. You paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You spent $1,300 in data because you decided to keep texting back and forth
With your
when you were in
brother.
when you were in Europe, but
Oh, whoa.
you got to pay it. Yeah. This just in. Get a new SIM card when you travel countries. You can It's not gonna be the same phone number, but I guarantee you'll pay a lot less.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what the soldiers would do when they go to South Korea. Is they just get a South Korean SIM and pay pennies on the dollar.
Okay. So basically when you're in Moscow, you could like hit off of any one of those towers. It wouldn't necessarily.
I mean, they could give a rough estimate on where it's at, but they can't find the exact location. Like, they can't pinpoint, he was here at this exact spot at this exact time.
Yeah, but like to say like to say this, oh my god, okay, so I was on this tower, that means that I had to be in this part of Moscow versus like that part.
Yeah, because it works out the triangulation. Okay, you're connected to these two towers at this time, and your third tower is over here, so you're not over here where this fourth tower is, because that's on the other side of the other two towers.
But what if the towers were busy? How does that work, or does that not matter?
It doesn't matter. The towers are able to handle a lot more people than what they're. I mean, Moscow's a small town.
Okay.
They're able to handle pretty much everybody here in Moscow because they designed it that way. They made sure that they have enough bandwidth to be able to provide service to all their customers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dirty clean. That one, I don't know where on earth that came from about the white Elantra.
What about it? That you have a white Elantra?
Yeah, like the only white cars I have ever owned is a Ford Taurus. Like, and it's a Ford Taurus is an obvious car. It's a granny car. Like,
yeah.
It's
Ford Taurus. So, guys, just so we know, Chuck here does not drive a white Elantra. How often do you see white Elantras out there?
Not very often. I don't pay attention to cars that often, so.
I cannot believe people were saying that you had a white Elantra. He's like, no, man, I used to push a Ford Taurus that was white, okay?
And that was like back in 2010. Like the
2010.
Most recent thing I have is a black Chevy and a motorcycle, so.
Yep, so he does not have a white Elantra, so mark him off the list. Oh, shit. Oh, man.
That's the other thing about the white Elantra that just doesn't make sense to me. Is like they got the camera footage of it turning towards Pullman and stuff like that. So can you bring up a map of Moscow for me and go to about where the Kibi Dome is?
Yeah, you want me to go to the dome? Yes, let me pull it up. Let me find my Googles over here. Okay. You want me to pull up the
Kibi Dome.
How do you spell that?
Kilo India Bravo Bravo India Echo.
Excuse me?
Kilo India
Bravo
Bravo India Echo.
I wasn't ready for your
sorry,
your lingo there.
So used to it to speaking quickly.
Okay, so what are we looking at here? Obviously we're looking at the stadium.
So you look at the road to the north of the Kibi Dome from where you're looking at right now.
Okay, so over here.
Yeah, so this road, sorry, it's to the south, yeah. So
right.
Not that one, but the one on the left.
Right here.
So that road is what connects, if you zoom out, you can see that road connects down to Blake Avenue.
If you're going like this way?
So where he was caught, if you zoom out just a
little more.
A little bit more. You can see how it makes this S and then comes up to the highway. There it is.
Right here.
So what doesn't make sense to me is why on earth, if they took the route from where the King sort of killings were, why didn't they just take the old Pullman Highway that has no cameras?
Wait, why do you think that he was over here?
Because they had the camera footage of him turning left and going towards Pullman.
Where was that? What do you mean? Where have you seen that?
I want to say it was either the traffic camera or it was the camera from Nom Nom.
From where?
Up by the highway.
So you're saying you think that they have him on camera here?
Yeah, I thought they had him on the traffic cam there, or from, if you can see the gas station, it's like the big building just north of that, not that one, to the right. So the one to the left of that one with the shiny top is a gas station.
Right
Nope,
here.
That's Best Western.
Right
yeah.
here.
So that gas station is pointing a camera out somewhere. I know Moscow PD asked them about it. Yep. No. But they captured video of a car heading towards Pullman on that, from what I've seen so far.
Are you talking about the Are you talking about the footage from the Exxon?
There's no Exxon in Moscow.
Or the mobile or whatever? Isn't that? Let me see.
I mean, there's a stinker station.
Well, the only one that I know of that, yeah, they make no mention of in the PCA, so of seeing any vehicle over here. So this would interest me if.
Yeah, I thought it was from. I could have sworn I saw a picture of the camera from that intersection up there. Is what they were going off of, but I could be wrong. It could be something else. If they're talking about the gas station near 1112, that one is.
That's the one over there by like.
It's A&W.
Like White Ave.
Yeah, that's A&W or Sunset Mart.
It's like called Mobile.
Yeah, Sunset Mart. Not ours.
Oh wait, Sunset Mart? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the name of it.
It's funny that you say that. Can I just let me show you something? Wait, hold on. Listen to this.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did you?
Okay.
Okay, so where is that now?
Honestly, if you go into Google Maps, you could just type Sunset Mart. It'll pop right up. Or just A&W in Moscow.
So this is it?
I just see your title screen.
Oh, you can't see. Wait, I didn't share it. Oh shit! Sorry. There you go.
Yeah, that's Sunset Mart.
Yeah. Okay, so this is it, right?
Yeah.
And
Dude,
so this is what they're saying. Get me out of this thing.
Yeah, you can kind of see it up in that corner.
Yeah, this is where they. Yeah, let me go like this.
This was the other footage of the white Elantra, I think, going back down towards King Road, I think. But yeah, it's 76 now, but it's Sunset Mart.
Wait, okay, wasn't it something else? It wasn't 76. It wasn't it.
If you look to the right, where you see where it says 76 Sunset Mart.
Yeah. I see that. Interesting. So these fucking kids took the sign from up over here by Sunset Mart, by the way, and walked to these apartments. What a bunch of clowns. Who the fuck?
It's a long way.
Isn't it? Yeah, I think that's a pretty long way.
And there's obviously like a hill right there. It's not. I mean, it's a steep hill. Yes, Moscow is mostly hills, but many times if I had to walk I've had to stumble my way up this road up to where you're looking at, and then turn right and go down there to my apartment. And that's
Hey, have you
what
ever been to the grub truck?
back in like when I first came back, I want to say. I normally don't like getting greasy food late at night anymore, but the grub truck is always in downtown every night.
Okay. Is it like a place
Yeah,
to
really
do?
good.
Is it a place to do drug deals?
Not that I'm aware of, but good mac and cheese, especially when you're drunk.
Oh, so the mac and cheese is off the hook?
The mac and cheese is pretty good.
Okay. So if you weren't, you wouldn't like be like, oh, let me just go. If I just go to the grub truck, I know I could score some like, if you were in need of like, I don't know.
No, there's
You wouldn't think like that's not something that you've ever heard of.
no, not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. There are people in Moscow that do deal drugs and stuff like that. Yes, there's drug dealers everywhere.
That happens everywhere. You know what I mean?
But it's not some sort of conspiracy that they're dealing drugs out of the grub truck. That would be shut down rather quickly.
Okay. I meant more like not that the grub truck's stealing them, but just like it'd be like an easy place to like meet up to make a swap because like people are.
No, honestly, like most of the drug dealers would probably just come to your apartment. And
No,
it's,
that's what I've been told.
it's a lot. It's a
they
lot
just come
safer
straight to
than
you.
just going out in public. And I mean, downtown Moscow has cops patrolling up and down it all night long.
Yeah.
Like I especially feel bad for them when school picks back up again and you get the drunk unruly kids for the first little bit that
Go
I'm
wild.
21, I'm gonna go wild and drink. It's my first time being here at college, and then all the mistakes and stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Like one time I had a Domino's used to be where the Pizza Hut's at right now, and I had this dude come in late at night. It was like 11 o'clock right before we got off. No, it was probably about 1 a.m. I think. Dude covered head to toe in mud, and I could obviously tell he'd been drinking. And I'm like, all right, dude, where do you live? He's like, I live down there. I'm like, all right, here's a towel. You're gonna hop in my car, and I'm gonna take you home. And I took him back to his fraternity, and he's like, oh, he's been missing for an hour. I'm like, I wonder why. Clean him up, please.
So you took him back to the frat?
Yeah, did. Stupid
Yeah.
kids.
I mean,
And,
college is like that. I mean, you're just people go wild in the beginning. They have their freedom. No one's there telling them what time they have to be home, and
it's terrible too because especially during the winter, which this happened during the winter, which is why I was completely surprised that he didn't die, because we've literally had people stumble drunk and get into Paradise Creek that flows along there and die of hypothermia out there. It's happened multiple times over the years. Someone getting drunk and just falling asleep outside and being exposed to the elements, you're not going to last long.
jeez. Yeah. Oh wait, I wanted to ask you one last question. Have you ever heard anything about any tunnels? Rumors about any tunnels?
Oh yeah, the steam tunnels.
Steam tunnels.
Yeah,
So it's true.
yeah, we have steam tunnels running throughout the university. They're rather nice during the winter because it goes straight from the dorms all the way up to the main building. So, the walkway is cleared of snow and you don't have to plow it or anything. Now, the steam tunnels basically go up to the admin and stop because the steam tunnels are going from the steam plant that's over by the living learning communities, spreads throughout campus and goes up to the admin, but any other buildings past that is where the steam tunnels stop.
So you
Twizzle
can just
Stick is right. The
So-
tunnels are real, but dragging a body through them is like you won't be able to do it.
okay.
It's full
What about
of
like
wires.
what about like you just like so I could just like go in them and just like walk under and just pop up and be like, "Hey, I'm over here now"?
Yeah, you're not supposed to, obviously,
Okay,
but
so like
and the steam tunnels are locked.
They're
At
locked.
least the entranceways are locked, and
How do you get down there? Like, how would you have access to that?
you have to have the keys. I know of a few of the entrances, but they're all hard keyed.
Okay.
There's
Would like
actually,
police have entrance, like,
mm,
or is it like the school?
I mean, the school has access to it, and so do like the HVAC personnel that need to be down there for, because that's how we also heat all of our classrooms. Is we use the water from the steam plant to heat up everything, and we also run our internet cable or fiber optics underneath in there too. So it's not like this great big open pathway underneath. It's rather cramped because of pipes and equipment. Like you can work down there, but like I've only seen the steam tunnels once, so I know they're there and I know what's down there. But
You've been down there,
I haven't been down inside the steam tunnels.
but you just know where the entrances are.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So when I'm in Moscow, I'm just gonna come pick you up, and you're just gonna take me there.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Honestly, the better one would be the bomb shelter in the dorms.
The bomb shelter? Where's
Yeah,
that?
they've got like a 1950s, 60s bomb shelter that is in Wallace.
It's
So
where's it
it-
at?
if you look at where I can't type in Wallace, Idaho. What is the address of that? It's off of 6th Street. It's about 1080 West 6th.
Wait, what was the address?
1080 West 6th. Yeah, so each wing of those has a bomb shelter. Now the bomb shelter has been, decommissioned for many years.
So this brand new hall here, it's under here.
They're not new. I can tell you that.
Oh,
They-
these aren't new? They
no,
look nice.
they remodeled a little bit of the front and replaced glass and stuff like that, but that's not a new building.
Okay.
And the terrible thing about it too, and I feel so sorry for these kids. It was designed by a prison designer, and there's no AC, so it's hot in there, and the kids have to stay in there. I mean, it does have heat from the steam plant, so it stays pretty warm in there, but there's nothing to cool it off. Hello? And it's gone quiet on my end.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
So I'm just taking in my history lesson. I'm loving this at the moment, and I gotta go get some more water. So apologize, but yeah, you could. I need to get my history lesson from you, man.
Oh,
So-
I've been up here for many years. I've seen, all of the sights to see, and I've been, in almost every single building on campus.
Yeah.
It's like you get the little tidbits of history here. Like you got the mem gym where the gargoyles are actually rugby players.
Okay.
Like you can't really tell unless you look closely at them. Funny building though. They've done it twice to us. Brink Finney Hall and the teaching and learning center. So
Okay.
both Brink Finney Hall is an old building that they built half of it, and then the other half is completely different. So it's like a giant freaking maze. They did the same thing to the TLC. So we have half of the TLC of what it should have been, and the other half of what it should have been is over in California somewhere because they mixed up plans.
Okay. Wow. Well, me and you, Chuck, we're gonna have to do like a part 2 in all of this, man, because I that's just interesting. So then, what's your take of the 1122 King Road house? Did you like, since you kind of like lived by it, was it always known as like a party area? Like,
I mean, a lot of kids do party over there. When I was at Farmhouse Fraternity, we would always go to what's called the Whites, which is basically the apartments right across the street from Taylor.
that's right. Like you graduated from here.
No, I haven't graduated. I'm a dropout.
Okay,
I-
like you
I-
got here.
Yes, I have tried attending twice, and yeah, second time after the army.
Okay.
An information systems degree is not an information systems degree back then. When
Okay.
I tried again, they've made changes since then, but I'm so busy with work now. It's hard to get
Okay.
everything straight again.
Okay. Wow.
But it is true. A lot of those houses and apartments just off of campus, a lot of students do go over there and do party. What sucked about my apartment over off of Lauder was it was at the same height as one of the fraternities over there, and they would turn their speakers in my direction. So when they are blasting their music, my windows would shake because I'm in. Think of like a direct line of sight with nothing in
Yeah.
between us. So. Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
like it is loud over there, but just because it like is like a tunnel, as they say. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, you can almost every weekend you'd be able to hear someone throwing a party or something like that. Like, there's many different places that people will throw little parties here and stuff like that.
Have you ever go to like Corner Club? What's the vibe there?
Corner Club is small. It's cramped. I'm sorry, I don't like the Corner Club because of that. It's a great place, but I one of those people that don't like to be squished up next to people in a crowd.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I normally go to the pool hall in Mingles or
What's
Like, I've
Mingles
got-
like?
a lot more laid
Is it
back.
is it bigger?
Yeah, way bigger. The Corner Club is like not even a half of the floor at Mingles. Like it's a small building.
When you were talking about Wallace, is it Wallace, Idaho?
Well, there's Wallace, Idaho, but Wallace is the name of the building.
Name of the building. Have you ever been to Wallace, Idaho?
Probably.
What's it like there? What is it?
That's what I think it is. I've been almost all over Idaho except for the north, but
Okay.
north of Coeur d'Alene.
Okay, so they're by CD. Okay. People are strange when they are strange. Oh shit.
This is. Yeah. No, that's back where they can get to Missoula. No, I haven't been to Wallace, Idaho. I've been up
Okay.
Coeur d'Alene,
Okay.
Post or Livy Lake, Post Falls, Spokane. Like when I worked for the internet company, we serviced from basically Tico all the way down to Grangeville, which is
When you hear, like, obviously you're there, you can't get away from this case. It's, all over. What do you think about when they made the arrest of like Brian Colbert? Or like, are you following the case at all?
I have been looking at it like, if their evidence stacks up, then they've got their man. but it just sucked because not only when all this is coming out, like my girlfriend worked right across from the courthouse, and it was just it was
Media frenzy.
it was a circus, and like they had the media literally trying to enter in the daycare and stuff with their cameras and things like that. And it's like gotta back off from us. No, it's it. I think the town is just ready for it to be done and over with. We do truly hope like they got the person that did it, and we hope that they can prove it. But if they don't, then we hope that they can find whoever did.
So, like, is it like the town believes that they have their person?
I believe so. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in my mind. So until the trial and until they issue the evidence against them and the counterclaims, as of right now, legally he is innocent. He has not been proven guilty yet. A lot of people want him to be guilty, and they want him to be, they want him to be the one, but it's what the evidence says. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. It's what the evidence.
So would it surprise you, since you've been in the Army, would it surprise you that somebody that committed these crimes and all these stabbings and the blood transfer, that when he would have gotten in his vehicle, that there wouldn't be any blood trace in there?
There would be blood.
Well, did you know that there's not?
No. If he did do the crime and he drove away, there would be blood. There's no way he would have been able to do it without getting blood on something. And if it was only on his front and he didn't, even if you stepped in it, there would be blood on the floorboards. The only way you can get rid of it is you clean it up with chemicals, but it's obvious that you cleaned it up with chemicals.
Yeah, that's what they said, that there's no trace of a cleanup, and there's no trace of any of the blood, any of the DNA. Nothing is in his car, and they took that fucker apart. So I was like, that's what I was like, everybody said that car is going to be like a treasure trove of, it's going to light up like a Christmas tree, And I'm like, yeah, it should. And when it came back, and there's no sign of a cleanup, and there's no sign of any of the 4 DNAs, I don't understand. But that's not, you don't hear the news talking about that. And it's a huge miscarriage of information right now, in my opinion, because someone like you who lives there, or lives right around there and works there, you were just like, wait, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought, yeah, so his vehicle doesn't have any traces of anything in it.
Yeah, and
so if you were
somehow,
because I like how you think, you're like, hey, he's innocent, I'd have to. So if you were like a jury member and you heard that, would that kind of blow you away to hear that?
Well, I would then phrase questions like any jury member would, and ask, if you didn't find that and all you found is just this DNA on the sheet that was hidden underneath, correct me if I'm wrong, if it was underneath the body or wherever it was in the apartment, it's like, okay, you have this DNA from here, but you can't corroborate where any other DNA left at the scene. So it's, it could be happenstance, like Tiffany, who was blasphemy yesterday or a couple weeks ago. It could be, secondhand DNA from somebody, handling it or messing with it. But there's also circumstantial evidence of he, what did they say? He purchased it on Amazon through his Amazon
That's
account.
not proven.
Yeah. So if they bring that evidence up in court, then it's got to be, they got to prove that he had the knife in his possession at some time.
Yeah. Interesting how though.
Yeah.
So you'd believe that there should be blood in that car, right?
Yeah.
As an Army guy.
People bleed. Even if they're laying down or if they're asleep, or as I think they said, Zaina fought back or somebody fought back. Somebody's going to be bleeding. Somebody's going to have injuries. You know, that's why I'm curious as to why there wasn't any more DNA than just on the one sheath. Like, you can wear gloves and you can wear as much armor as you want and take that off and put it into the bag and then hop into your car. But like, you would need the time to do that, and I just don't think it's feasible, really. Like, to be able to go through and commit the murders, drop your sheath and leave your sheath there, and then step out, change all of your clothes, put it into a bag, you know, wash your hands because your hands are obviously going to have blood on them, and not transfer that to like your steering wheel or whatever. Like,
If you wore gloves, would you have?
I mean, you could take your gloves off, but you got to handle all the clothes and stuff, and the gloves are the last one. No matter what you do, you still have to grab the glove off. You still have to use your fingers to pull the glove out. You can try pulling it off with your teeth and stuff like that, but you're going to just transfer the blood someplace else.
Very interesting, huh?
Yep.
I mean, because I agree with you. How do you interesting. Because I mean, you're nailing it, and it's just as long as people go into being a jury member like that, like, hey, you're gonna have to prove this, that, or the other.
Well, that's just. It's just from. Granted, I don't think like most people. I've known this for a long time, but you just have to think objectively. You have to look at the facts. That's entirely what a court case is. You don't look at, you know, because he was feeling this is why he was guilty. No, it's because he did this is why he is guilty.
Do you believe that you could kill 4 people in 8 minutes in 2 different bedrooms, 2 in each room, and at least one fights back, and it could happen in 8 minutes, and not transfer any blood to your vehicle?
I mean, 8 minutes may not seem like a lot of time, but it's a lot of time. It is. You can get a lot done in 8 minutes. Granted, getting into your vehicle and stripping off everything, that does take a little bit more time, but for the actual murder itself, like, yes, it is entirely probable that you can kill people in 8 minutes with one person fighting back. But then again, this also goes back to my statement of why didn't you just cut their throat? Be done with it. Move on to the next. Why do you have to stab them multiple times and each one? Granted, I understand the one that fought back because yes, you can't get a clean slice, but the other 3, like, yeah, it just.
You'd have to be pretty good, though, don't you think? With like a knife, you'd have to know where you're going, know who your targets are.
I mean, it had, and that's the other thing that the court has
And
to
then
prove. Is they
also-
have to prove it's premeditated.
Yeah, and then also go ahead and did you know that there's 2 male unidentified DNAs in the house as well?
I did see it was like 3 total DNA with 1
Yeah.
linked to covert.
Yeah, just what one of them. Interesting. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on here, and I hope that this
Just laying
clears
this to
up.
rest.
Yeah, I hope this clears up everything, guys. Charles here, call him Chuck. He has nothing to do with anything, and he wanted to come on here to talk about his story, talk about how he was misidentified as actually being Brent, and then being then accused of the Idaho4 murders. This originated on, what'd you say, 4chan, then Reddit, TikTok,
Facebook.
Twitter,
And Facebook and
Facebook
all
groups.
over.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact it originated on 4chan because the dates line up before whatever popped up on Reddit or Facebook, and I could see the exact moment when they were talking about the veteran on the radio, and then the next moment they pulled up the addresses and threw my name out.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing. 4chan is scary because it's full of degenerates that have nothing else better to do than
100.
to look into people's lives and scour the internet. But it's full of people just like you and me.
Yeah. Do you think that Brian could get a fair trial in Moscow?
It depends. It's going to be hard because almost everybody has seen the media coverage of this. So I don't know if they're going to, pull the jury from Moscow or if they're going to pull it from another city. I don't know exactly how the court proceedings would be for that, but I do know, a lot of people do have like their own opinions on what's going on or what happened, but it's. I like to think that there's more people out there that think logically like me, but it's yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I just want to say thank you, and I think that a lot of people that are here, they feel for you and your girlfriend, and I think that you've given us a lot of information that we didn't have before. Those steam tunnels, thank you for that. But from a local perspective, and as well as being somebody that was accused of something, it was nice to hear, your perspective on that, and I appreciate you for coming on here. Is there anything else that I can help you or your girlfriend with to make sure that all that stuff stops for you guys? I know that there's probably people that have been harassing you. Did you get any like death threats or anything?
Thankfully, not yet. The only ones that we've had are from girlfriend's basically ex-fathers, what I'm going to call them. So
Okay.
those are the only ones I have to worry about, and I'm more than happy to deal with that myself because that's my place.
Okay.
But thankfully, no one has issued death threats. It's just most people slander me and drag me through the mud. And, it's like I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not a bad person. I'm just a reasonable guy that's trying to live his own life and keep to himself.
Yeah, and the stuff. I mean, you're with working for the university and knowing some of that stuff, living there, being there. Dude, you're so laid back. I love it. Just so chill. So again, I thank you for coming on here, and maybe we can do like another go round as things start going on with the case, because I would just love your that hometown perspective, the local feel, and what's going on and things like that.
We can definitely keep in touch, and
Okay, that sounds good.
Just know I'm gonna steer clear of September from that part of town, just because the media frenzy is they literally block roads. They're all up on the sidewalks. You can't drive anywhere around that part.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, again, thank you guys for being in chat. You guys were awesome. Charles, go do your thing. Again, I know we're 3 hours in front of you, so it's only 7:47. They're good. You still have time to go do your thing.
Okay. Probably just gonna go play WoW.
Okay, good. Well then, I'm gonna end this out, close this out, and yeah, we'll keep in touch. Again, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I hope to have you again. You're awesome. All right, we'll talk soon, Charles. Chuck. Sorry, let me say Chuck. All right, buddy. Well, thank you guys in chat. He's awesome. He rocks, and I'm even going to have to go back and watch. I usually don't watch my lives. I'm going to have to go back and watch because you guys, he told us a lot of information. And his story is very simple. He was accused of being Brent and then also committing the homicides of the Idaho4. This has caused a lot of problems in his personal life with his girlfriend and their families and stuff like that. So we touched on a little bit of that TikToker crap, but yeah, like wild. Micah says, come on and sing it. So come on, Lana, sing it. People are strange. So, but yeah, I have so many. Shauna says she has so many questions. Everybody has so many questions. But I was getting emails about the guy. I deep down, and I was like, yeah, no. But yeah, I remember people brought that to the table. I have to go back and check my emails to see how many things I did have about him. But so anyways, but I want to say thank you guys for being awesome in chat. Thank you guys for the modding. My mods are amazing. So they make it the way that it is in chat. It's all they're doing. We want to keep an awesome atmosphere. We want people to be able to talk true crime here. I'm going to be covering, join me in the morning. I'm going to be covering my first episode to talk about a case out of Boston. We are going to go and support a female, Miss Reed, who has been, in my opinion, like, I can't even believe what's going on in Boston through her. But it's actually a couple of small towns, but hey, Boston, we're coming your way. Boston loves Lana. Boston supports Lana. So join me in the morning if you want to find out about that case. I'll be talking about the Zachariah case here probably in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, everything Idaho4. And then Dr. Moore and Dr. Drake. I got that documentary that I'm dropping. It's the beginning of a mini series that I'm doing, and you're not going to want to miss it because it is a total eye opener on how things are run in Idaho with investigations, and it's going to blow you away. So, and it has to do with people that were from the ISP that are investigating and part of, everything to do with the arrest of Brian Kohlberger. So yeah, it's just gonna whoop. So that's kind of like a round of what's going on. Again, appreciate you guys. What else? Yep. Again, thank you so much. Thank you. And be kind on your way out.
Who's responsible here? What's that? Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, been drinking or anything, right?
No. Okay, drive careful, okay?
Thank you.
Make yourself known. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Touch that.
Oh, really? You just ditched it? Awesome.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Those ones kept walking in the car. That's truly for the win.
Discs. Okay. They all knew about it.
We're not here to talk about that. alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.
This November 29th, 4 people that were murdered, and you want to fuck around. You got 8 families that are being affected by this, and they just mean nobody from the university.
Shock value. And so what he did was he had taken pictures of California.
Oh, you're from.
And-
I would be outraged if I lived in Moscow right now. I'd be lighting some cars on fire out there. I'd be flipping some cars. I'd get the frats going wild with me. Let's get some noise complaints going.